Again. All right. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. Man, I love you all. Thank you all for all your support, helping building the worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. I truly love and thank you all. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, click the notification button. Tell everybody you know, tell some folks you don't know. True indeed. All right, folks, I do want to um, bring to light or address quickly just one of the desperate, uh, methodical, and maniacal methodologies being deployed by the socially economic elite aimed at attacking our most precious and most vulnerable members of our families, our children, right? Okay, what are we talking about, Big King? I'm glad I got your attention. Schools, folks, public schools. Public schools have always actually been a forum for different layers and multiple layers of indoctrination to be applied to all of us. It's part of their efforts towards social engineering, which, if you do the research, you'll see goes back decades and decades, if not centuries, and globally thousands of years, right? Okay. But specifically right now, they are using their access to our children through the public school system to roll out another nefarious aspect of the socially economic elite's agenda, and that is to brainwash our children. They, folks, you got to realize more and more in our society, just take a look at the way things were 50, 60 years ago. Many of you may not be old enough to do that. I'm only 50. But I grew up not so detached from my elders, right? And they shared a lot of with me about what life was like, right? And I can remember myself back 30, 40 years or so, and the difference in life, right? And the difference in the way social structures were being applied. Case in point, if we look over at China, we see a rigid social system being applied where they actually have a social point system where the government is actually issuing sort of a guideline to social behavior, essentially telling each and every citizen exactly how to behave, what to do and what not to do, down to the letter during their daily lives. And at any point that your behavior does not follow into that sort of cookie cutter expression of what a good citizen looks like to them, well, then you have points deducted from you. That's right, folks. It's a point system. You have ways to earn and lose points in this system for things like the things that could be as mundane as whether or not you stop correctly at a traffic light, or things that are intrusive, such as your expression of certain opinions publicly, or your political decision making processes and how you share information along those lines. Folks, look into it for yourselves. Do the free thinking research and look into China's point system and decide for yourselves if that's how you want to live, if that's how you want to be programmed to live under constant control. Constant control. Constant control. Okay? But for the purposes of this video, you need to know that your children in the public school systems are being currently introduced to a very similar form of that system. And folks, this is being done as early as kindergarten. Huh? Think about that. So understand that since the socially economic elite are noticing, like I told you, that millions of people are waking up, their thought process is, oh, well, those are adults that we're losing control of. Let's go and attack the children and layer them even more nefariously, disgustingly, maniacally, dastardly, however you want to say it. They've decided to go and brainwash our children in efforts to breed a resurgence of the old paradigm in the form of a dystopian future. Pardon me. I'll repeat that. Their new tactic is to heavily place their efforts in the arena of brainwashing your child through the public school systems for those that that utilize the public school system. This is just one means, but you need to be aware that it is in play. This is all my opinion based on the free thinking research that I've done. Please be sure to do free thinking research of your own and form your own opinion. See for yourself if you're comfortable with the messages that are being given to your child. Look deeply into the curriculum that is being given to your child to follow. Look closely into the practices and policies that go into shaping what your child's day looks like at school. Folks, we got to pay attention. We got to decide what we want for ourselves, our family, and our future. And then we have to step up and make our voices be heard and our presence be felt, and let those who we put in place know that they are there to represent our best interest and not the best interest of the socially economic elite. That means making that abundantly clear at every level of government, because it should all be representative government. I'm talking about local, state, and federal, right? Folks, it's time for us to step up as free thinking, sovereign, responsible adults and let our voices be heard and our presence be felt. We don't want our children brainwashed, at least for the majority of people I've spoken to. In fact, I don't think I've come across anyone that's all right with that, right? So look into it for yourself. Ask detailed questions, not just fleeting questions that give you the ability to say, oh, that's nice, honey, that that's what you're doing in school today. Look deeply into what your child is being given as a curriculum. Look deeply into what policies and practices go into their day at school, right? Particularly, this is in the public schools. Be aware of the changes and the messages of morality that are being given, right? Transhumanism is being heavily pushed in the public school systems. Have you endorsed that? Have you asked for that for your child? Right? There are a lot of themes and agendas being heavily pushed in our public school systems that most of us simply aren't aware of. And furthermore, most of us simply would not approve of if we were aware of it. Right? So, with that being the case, let's change that. Let's become aware and let's make our voices heard and our presence felt in terms of making sure that we are the decision makers, right? That we are the decision makers on what goes into our child's upbringing, right? And giving them a beautiful opportunity at a free thinking life, a sovereign life, a life where they can grow up in abundance and grow up with all of the fruits of unity consciousness as opposed to all of the ills of separation mentality. All right, folks, thank you so much for paying attention to me and even more for doing your own free thinking research and forming your own opinions and acting upon them. Thank you so much. I love you all. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and let's continue to build what? The worldwide movement of peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. I'm out.